Hello everyone. In this video, I will walk you through one of the scenario based questions for the Certified Kubernetes Administrator exam, and this is about how to perform Nslookup on a service and a pod, and we have to use a temporary pod, a busybox pod or any other pod, and let's see how it's being done. So the question will look something like this. So we have to create a deployment, and the deployment name should be nginx deploy. It must use nginx image, and then after that expose this deployment via a service, and this is the name of the service, nginx service. It must be listening on port 80, and ensure that both service and pod are accessible via their respective DNS records. Then we have to perform this test, like there is a YAML file which will be available for testing, and then use that YAML file to create a pod and use the Nslookup. So we have to create the pod from the specification which they have provided, and then we have to perform the Nslookup and then save the output to this file like service.dns and temp pod.dns. So this is the question. And I will just walk you through the example on the live cluster. So first I need to create a deployment. So my deployment has been created. Next is to expose the deployment, and this will create the service. So the command is expose deployment, name of the deployment, name of the service, and the port, the front end port of the service and the back end port of the containers or the deployment. So I'll paste that, and service also has been created. Next I can just do like output. I can just see the output. So here I am saying get pod o wide, and this is the pod which was just created, and this is running on this port .72, and I can see the output of my service as well, and this is the nginx service. So everything looks fine. Next, what they are telling is I should create a pod like a temporary busybox and then perform the lookup. So this is how the command will look like actually. So it will be like Kubernetes exec, and I exec into that busybox pod. Then I perform the lookup using this service name, and whatever be the output, I just redirect to tmp service.dns, and then I can take a look whether everything has worked well or not. So I just copy this. So last command, actually the pod is still not ready, so I'll just rerun that. So this time it has run correctly, and now I can check out the output. So this is worked perfectly fine. So this is the service DNS. I have performed the Nslookup. Next they are saying to perform the Nslookup for the pod as well. So I take that particular command. I am just doing Nslookup, and herein I will replace so the pod service will look something like the IP dash. So instead of dot, what Kubernetes does is just replaces dots with dash. So like this, and finally it will add default dot pod. So this is the namespace and dot pod because it's a object is type of pod. So I have to replace actually the IP. So for this pod, right, nginx for the pod DNS. For the pod DNS, it's actually .72. So this is the pod which I have created. So I replace that with 72 and redirect. And finally, I have to just confirm whether the data is correct. So I just do cat. So I can see the my pod data also correctly. So the Nslookup for pod as well as service has worked as expected. And finally, if you want, you can just delete all the object. It's up to you, but I'm just performing just to keep everything clean. So that's all. Thanks for watching. Bye.